Hello and welcome to another KCJC Sport Talk. I am your host, Kenyut Connell, and my co-host is
This is John J.C. Campbell live and direct from Kingston, Jamaica.
John. As usual, we want to say thanks to each and everyone who have subscribed to the Rusty's Brosis YouTube channel. And we continue to ask you to subscribe, like, and share, and to bring all your comments in, sending all your comments. So, John, what's going on in the world of sports?
Boy, so the world of sport, in spite of COVID, what you call it, COVID-19, keeps buzzing. But I was actually heartened by the news of out of the US actually, Courtney Lawrence. This fellow, he's actually a former Petersfield High School athlete, and he has been named he has been given has been named the USA National Junior Athletics Association Male Athlete of the Year. And he's actually a field athlete.
Yeah.
And he actually did here in boys champs, and he's actually a shot putter. And he has bettered his personal records and so on. He's doing quite well in the United States. In fact, a lot of the national athletes or athletes who are on scholarship are doing quite well in the United States right now as we speak, and this guy, Courtney Lawrence from Petersfield High School, he's doing remarkably well. He's a male athlete of the year for the week, so that's positive news,
Yeah, I've been keeping track of the athletes that are here, and of course they are doing well, considering the fact that we do not really have indoor track in Jamaica. They're doing absolutely well, and they're supposed to be having a meet coming up this weekend also, where a number of our athletes are going to be performing. But I think it's supposed to be in Arkansas. I'm not quite sure, but a lot of our athletes are supposed to be performing. So yeah, I've been keeping a close watch on our athletes. They're doing very well. And the best is yet to come, because this is the indoor season. I'm certain a lot of these athletes are just getting themselves acclimated to the indoor track, which is totally different from what they're used to in Jamaica.
Yeah.
But just to keep it in the line of the athletics. So the last report from the International Olympic Committee president is that the Olympics will be held.
That is good news.
We know that the determining factor is COVID-19. We know that's the determining factor, but they're saying, despite all of what they're trying to consult with all the necessary health authorities, and the planning continues, and they're expecting the game to kick off on the 23rd of July. But also in the news is the president of the Tokyo Olympic Organizing Committee, who made a derogatory comment about ladies in the last meeting that they had a few days ago, where he said women talk too much in meetings. And in Japan, he has come under huge fire, because in Japan, you know that women are grossly unrepresented as it relates to politics and as it relates to the boardroom. So, of course, this is a big issue. And there are many who even called for his resignation, but he said he won't resign. But he actually went back and retract the statement. And so hopefully they'll forgive him, but he just got to be a little bit more careful next time, because when you're in a situation like that,
yes, you better be careful.
You got to be careful. You just got to know what you're saying.
I'm real.
You said you had some information on cricket, right?
But I also want to add quickly. No, but before I go to cricket, I still want to keep it in line with track and field, because right here in Jamaica, the Ministry of Sport
seem like we're having some technical difficulties with John. So, are you back
Are we
now?
back?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we seem that we're back. Are you hearing me clearly?
Yes, go ahead.
I was just saying to you that right here in Jamaica, interesting things are happening in terms of the Ministry of Sport is now trying to establish a program to provide aid to former athletes who may have fallen on hard times. You know, they have done their career and just not doing too well, and actually, you know, in a bad way. So they are now trying to establish a fund to support these athletes, and this fund will be generated especially through the Sport Development Foundation. So the negotiations are ongoing as we speak, and we sincerely hope that this will come to fruition. And if you recall, some time ago also, the Jamaica Football Federation actually mentioned a similar project where they were trying to look out for the welfare of past national representatives who, again, would have fallen on hard times. So yeah, that's a positive thing, you know. We give thanks to that.
I actually like that.
What do you think about that, though?
I actually like that because
our readers.
My only concern is the way fund is going to be appropriated, because you know a lot of times in Jamaica they say that fund is designated for a certain thing, and then all of a sudden somebody dip their hand into the piggy bank and use it for something else. So I'm only hoping that this is not going to be so when it comes to sports, that the money that is designated for that purpose will be only used for that purpose, because we are certain that there are going to be some athletes who will need that kind of help. So that is just my take on that. It's definitely a great plan. It's a great idea, but hopefully then that they're going to pay much attention to that to ensure that this fund is only used for the purpose that it was designated for. Are you on, John?
All right, are you back with us?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we seem to be having some internet challenges. You know, so it goes with technology. But yeah, so I'm quite pleased with that. And lastly on the track and field issues, again, there's some kind of noise being made from the western half of the island of the lack of a proper track for the athletes to train. You know that the Mobe Stadium is in a state of disrepair. The track is not so good, so the athletes can't use it. So the coaches are saying, "Hey, what is happening to us? Why isn't there any move to fix and to remedy the situation?" So the athletes don't understand that, and they're being disadvantaged. So as if we're going back to the same old again, where everything is centralized in Kingston. If you want an Olympic-sized swimming pool, come to Kingston. You want a good track, go to Kingston. You want a cycling velodrome to train, go to Kingston. You know, so we have to move away from that. We have to decentralize sport development. We have to know, you know, have facilities and infrastructure in different parts of the island. It makes no sense. We have to always be coming to Kingston to get first class or good quality facility. That is to me is backward, you know. But I don't know. Let us see how that goes, though.
That's the problem I see with sports in Jamaica, is that they have to put in place the necessary tools to facilitate the growth of sport. Based on what you're saying right there, that's not a good way to facilitate the growth of track and field or the growth of any sport in Jamaica. You have to have the same facilities or similar facilities in the western section of Jamaica also. Or you have to find a way to get the athletes from the western side of Jamaica, or the country area, as we call it in Jamaica, to the town area. You have to find a way to do that. If you don't have the resources to make the necessary fields that are needed and are the resources that are needed in the western section of Jamaica, then you need to find a way to transport athletes and to house athletes so they can train properly.
But I hear you. And that to me would be the last resort, because to find the funding and the time and space to move athletes from, well, let's say Negril to Kingston to train. That can be, beneficial to anybody. So the thing is that the effort needs to be made to establish facilities on that side of the argument. That's it. But we have a facility. There is a facility there in Mobi. We just need some attention to fix it, to keep it up, to upkeep.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. But I think, let's see how it goes with that.
Okay, so it's mainly the upkeep that is the problem right now then?
Yeah, certainly, because the stadium is in Mobi. There's a stadium there,
Okay.
I'm sure you know that, but it's just the upkeep. There's a good stadium with a football field and track and everything, but it needs to be kept up to international standards, So that's it. Right, but let me just quickly jump into the another good note. Again, cricket. I hear that West Indies did a little better against Bangladesh this time round in the test. But let us see how it goes. Early days yet. But more interestingly, Sir Vivian Richards, that West Indies icon, stalwart of West Indies cricket, he was just honored with the title of hero in his home country, Antigua and Barbuda. So he's now considered almost a hero in Antigua. And with that comes a whole barrage of good, let me call it gifts in terms of his housing, his car, everything. He's been taken care of for life, and ambassadorial passports. He's been honored at the highest level in his country right now as we speak, Some people disagree, saying that the money should be spent on, on other things like people who, on poor people, I guess, and to develop, that kind of thing. But if you ask me, I think he has done a lot to not only put West Indies on the map, but his entire country. People travel to Antigua and Barbuda simply because of Viv, They want to meet the icon. And I'm not talking little one-day tourists. We're talking European tourists who, when they come, they come for 2-3 weeks. That has been going on because of Viv. So the country has benefited from his presence. So I guess this is why they're trying to honor him. They're not trying, they are honoring him with the title of hero. So that's a big deal.
And I don't think there's anyone in West Indies cricket who is more deserving than Vivian Richards. He's a legend of the sport.
Yes,
I think that
amazing.
If my memory serves me right, he is the only captain in international cricket who has never lost a test cricket series. What
awesome.
Better achievement do you want to see than that? Plus his service as captain of the West Indies team. So I don't live in Antigua and Barbuda, so I can't talk about what the situation is. But I'm saying, looking at it through the West Indian microscope, I don't think there's anybody who is more deserving. If he was in Jamaica, I would have been saying the same thing, because he's very deserving because of his contribution to the sport. He took it to another level. He took it to another level. As the captain, he also held the side to get a very long growth in West Indies cricket. I don't think that West Indies has ever seen a better captain than Vivian Richards, in my opinion.
Well, some would argue that could be argued because people think that's Clive Lloyd. is actually the most successful and the best captain. But that can be argued. You know, that can be argued. That can be argued. Yes, so that's great. But that's great news,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah, but let's go on to some football, soccer.
Yeah, interestingly.
I'm trying to stay away from Barcelona, but it's total chaos in Barcelona, man. It's total chaos.
Is that so?
Most recently, first it was the financial crisis that they were going through. And now it's out in the news that there's a leak of Messi's contract. And it occurred like last week, Sunday. And they're trying to figure out who leaked such information because for some reason, Messi did not want his contract, the detail of his contract to be out in the public. It is said that his contract is the biggest that to ever been signed by an athlete, no matter what sport you want to think about. It is said that his contract, his 4-year contract, is worth 555 million euros, which is equivalent to $670 million.
Woo.
Right? And none of us knew that. We thought that he was getting less than Ronaldo, right? But so that came out, and Messi is furious. And also Barcelona is furious. They're thinking about pressing charges against the newspaper. I think it came out in El Mundo. So they're thinking about pressing charges. But let me hear your take on it, John. Where do you think this leak came from? Considering the fact that Messi actually see Barcelona as not relevant anymore. And the current president of Barcelona is saying that he is not optimistic at all that Messi is going to be staying, right? Messi himself said that he has been there for 20 years and then there's nothing there exciting to him anymore. So it's almost a certainty that he's going to leave. So right now, the president have to be trying to defend himself by saying, I'm not the one who leaked this information out. But then also remember that because this information is leaked, there are many who believe that Messi is the one who is causing them their financial woes because of how much he's paid. You know, so when you look at both of those situations about how much he was paid and it was in secret, and considering the fact that the current president believes that Messi is not coming back, of course, I would believe that it got to be somebody from the inside who is trying to make Messi look like he's a traitor. That is causing this upset, but they're saying it's not them, they're denying it. What do you think about that, John?
Well, I mean, you're putting me on the spot because you don't want anybody to come look for me, you know. But you know, to me, the Messi and all them, you know, Messi's, I think he's winding down now in terms of career. You know, he's, you know, on the cusp of his career and probably on the way down or maybe even out. I think he has a couple of more years still. I don't know, but that league could be coming from anywhere, man. Anywhere within with persons close to him too, you know, persons around him, you know. But I don't know. To me, it's just fun. It's just fun now for, you know, for these guys. These guys are just making news and just going on. I mean, really, you know.
And guess what? It doesn't stop there. They say, according to his contract, as it's published, Messi is supposed to be paid a clause in July that is worth $40 million. That is just for loyalty, staying with the club over 20 years.
Yeah, but he's a brand, you know. He's a brand name. So any club that has him or anybody that has him within their fold stands to benefit. And you know, LeBron James, King Pele, these are all brand names, eh? And Usain Bolt, you know, Tiger Woods. They're all brand names, and the name can earn for anybody who has them within their fold, You know, but that's how it goes.
Yeah, it's saying that in Barcelona, the fact that he's earning a fortune and then that he's planning to leave, that some see it as treason. some serious cases right here, man. Some see it as treason. So yeah, and like we said before, the top clubs right now in the running for Messi is PSG, Manchester City, and they say some MLS side. So he might be coming to America.
Yeah, I heard that too. It'd be interesting to see him run for Manchester City, though. Eh? That'd be interesting. I don't know if it would.
Very much so. Very much so.
Different.
But let's move on real quickly so we can deal with a big topic for today. But I don't know if you're aware of it, but the African Nation Championship have been going on, and as a matter of fact, they have now reached to the finals, which is going to be between Mali and Morocco. You know, it's strange when you look at the competition this year, because the well-known teams like Ghana and Cameroon was out. As a matter of fact, Cameroon was beaten by Guinea let me see. No, it was beaten by Morocco 4-0.
Okay. Right.
So the traditional
Morocco.
African side, only traditional African side that is remaining in the competition really is Mali.
Yeah, but that's interesting too. What's up with the Cameroons and the Nigerias and but that's interesting football. But it speaks a lot to African football, Yes. I mean, I know we're focused on English Premier League, and for good reason, but don't discount what's happening in Africa and the growth of their football systems, And I think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with pretty soon. And not the regular names like the Nigerias and so on, but some names like you're calling, Morocco and Mali and all these names. So that's going to be interesting. I know time is running. I just want to touch quickly on another development in terms of on the medical side of things in football. And the word is out now that the concussion-related substitution is about to be about to come on stream, actually. And certainly in the English Premier League, they will be implementing a permanent concussion substitution as of February 6th. In other words, you can, if a player is to be substituted, if you get a concussion, which is like a head injury, it's being viewed now as a very serious thing, and that player will be taken out of play. But then you'll be allowed 2 extra substitutions because of that. You will be allowed extra substitutions. It's going to be, it's like an experimental thing, I believe, right now. And Jamaica said they will also adopt that system as well, where you allow more substitutions for the issue of incidents of concussion. And for some listeners who mightn't be aware, a concussion is, again, as it says, a head lick. So sometimes 2 players might go up to head a ball and they might have a clash in the head. Now that's a very serious injury, right? A very serious injury that can have long-term detrimental effects for the athletes. And we look at people like other sport too. We look at sport like boxing, and we look what happened to Muhammad Ali, who ended up with a neurological issue later on in life because of repeated knocks to his head and so on. It's part of the sport, But the footballers now, the football fraternity, they are now moving speedily ahead in terms of making sure they protect their athletes. And once you have a concussion, you're likely to be taken out of play. So that's
I'm very surprised. I'm very surprised that this wasn't brought to the table before, John, because like I told you before, I do a little bit of soccer coaching, and usually I have my athletes sign something regarding the inherent risk of the sports. And in soccer, even though you don't see it very often, you can have really serious head injury playing soccer, but not much attention
Yes.
was paid to that.
I've experienced that too.
You
Not
know,
that serious, but I've
yeah,
experienced that.
that's just a part of the inherent risk of the sport, and it's definitely something that they needed to look into.
I
You
mean,
know,
yeah,
but
absolutely.
just so we can run a little bit faster
Yeah,
than we're
sure.
moving right now. Yeah, I have to touch on the Premier League. I don't know what's happening in the Premier League. As a matter of fact, Wednesday night Premier League saw every away side, including Liverpool, losing to Brighton. You know, Everton triumph at Leeds, West Ham triumph at Aston Villa. You know,
Wow.
and today Chelsea won their game today against Tottenham. But I am listening to the guys on the forum talking about the Premier League, and there is so much parity in the Premier League. It's making it very interesting. But I also think that the Premier League depends so much on crowd noise. And I think he has something to do with it, not just the party, but the amount of teams that we're seeing in the top five that's losing to team um,
Yeah.
less than top 10 teams. You can see how I think the impact of the pandemic that the pandemic is having on the Premier League is being shown. But
Yeah.
there is one team that I've been telling these guys that I'm paying attention to, and that's Arsenal. Even though I'm not an Arsenal fan, but I'm just looking at the mixture of Arsenal as a team and some of the games that they have played most recently and their performance. Judging from what I see so far, they are, even though they're at number 10 right now, currently they're at number 10, they're one of the teams that I expect to see them start moving up the ladder pretty soon. This is week 22, I think, and I'm expecting that they're going to be up there by about, let's say about week 26 or so. They're going to be.
Let's see how that goes. All right. Let me just quickly touch on somebody who's actually a listener is actually writing something here, and he's asking, wasn't there a multi-purpose stadium built in Trelawney? And that's a good point. There was a stadium. I don't know about multi-purpose, but there was a stadium. It was built particularly for cricket, and it has become what they call white elephant. It has become a white elephant over the years. In fact, they use it for jazz, for concerts at one point. But it is it's still there, not being utilized. So yes, exactly so. We need to know, revamp those things and just get them functional. So yes, Kush has mentioned that. So that's great. Yeah. I know we have a guest. I think it's about time.
Yes, sir. It's time to bring our guest in.
You want to introduce your guest?
Terrence, you want to adjust your camera?
There you go.
Well, so yes, tonight's guest. This is somebody I know very well. He has his own podcast show, which is Chicago Clubhouse, where they talk about sports just like our talk show, but mainly focusing on the primary topic they focus on is football. And Terrence is a season holder. Terrence Nicholas is a season holder of Chicago Bears football, and he's one of the top fans you can think about. We worked together for a while, and Terrence and I are two of the most dedicated Chicago Bears fans you can find. Even when the Bears are losing, we're still cheering for the Bears. And so, Terrence, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about yourself and what your podcast is all about? You're on mute, Terrence.
Yeah, unmute.
On mute.
Okay, you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
What's up, Mr. John? How you doing?
Peace and love, peace and love.
My man.
Welcome to the show, man. Been hearing about you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, man. All of it.
So, like Canute was saying, I am a super diehard Bears fan. Even when they're getting smacked in the mouth, when they're losing, I'm still there. I go to every home game, no matter what the weather is, and it's always cold in Chicago. It's always cold, but I'm dedicated. So I have a podcast. It's called Chicago Clubhouse Podcast. It's mainly about the Bears, but we talk about all Chicago sports. We've now expanded into comedians from Chicago. We talk about actors from Chicago, and we also talk about youth football and youth basketball. So we cover a lot of area. We don't just want to keep it football, but we try to stay away from politics. We try to stay away from Chicago politics. That's a lot to stomach. And I just don't like to talk about it, but we have a fun show. We have a lot of great guests that you might see on TV, in movies, making music, or in football players. We had a lot of football players. Our first season just kicked off in September. So we're on the basketball season now. So we have basketball players coming. So it's a good show. And I would encourage everybody to check it out.
So Terrence, I want you to just give our listeners an idea of some of the guests that you had on your show for your early season, mainly footballers, because a lot of our listeners from back home, they're getting into football and might not know some of these players, but just kind of give them an idea of some of the guests that you've had on your show so far as it relates to football.
Sure. So we've had Tommy Harris. He was a defensive tackle. We've had Chris Zorich. He was a defensive tackle back in 1993. Tommy Harris was a defensive tackle in 2000. Was it 2008? I think it was 2008.
Yeah.
We've also had Rashid Davis, who started out as a cornerback, and then he turned wide receiver. We've had Bernard Berrien. He's a wide receiver, but he later went to Minnesota. So we've had a wide variety of players, different positions. But it's always good to get insight from people in the different positions to know exactly what their techniques are. And hopefully we get into that a little bit when we talk about the Super Bowl.
Yes, sir. That's what we're here for. So without further ado, we're going to get into the Super Bowl. So because I know that Terrence is a bright mind when it comes to football. So that's the reason why we brought Terrence on our show to talk about the Super Bowl. Yeah, the Super Bowl 55, Terrence. Yes, let's go right into it. Let's talk about a little bit about Andy Reid first, if you don't mind.
Okay, let's talk about him. He is a genius. He's a genius. He, he's a player's coach. And he coaches to his players' strengths. Unlike the coach for the Bears just says, okay, I want you all to do this and do this. And you got to learn how to do that. Andy Reid doesn't do that. Andy Reid looks at his players, looks at their skills and say, okay, well, he's good at that. He can't do that. So I'm not going to put him in that situation. And that is one thing that makes Andy Reid a really, really good coach. And that's why he's been in the league for a long time.
Yes. And how many teams do we have in the league? 16, right?
Yep.
16 teams in the league. And I just want our audience to see how great this guy is. This is the Phil Jackson of football. All right, so I just want you guys to see how great this guy is. So based on coaches that was under the Reid system, we have John Harbaugh, right, who is currently coaching at the Ravens.
Yeah.
We have Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy. We'll tell you guys where we're laughing a little bit later. One of the least successful from the group is Matt Nagy. And Doug Peterson, who was with the Eagles, Sean McDermott, Ron Rivera, who is currently with Washington, Leslie Frazier, who is now he was with the Vikings, but he is now the defensive coordinator for the Denver Broncos.
Buffalo. But I thought it was Buffalo.
But for Buffalo, I'm sorry, yes, for Buffalo, my mistake. All right, and then we have Pat Schumer and Steve Spagnuolo. Those are all coaches who work under Reid. You know, that is something big. When you have one coach who has so many other coaches in the league who are head coaches or defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator, whatever the case might be. Yes, so the big game is going to be on Sunday, Super Bowl 55. And this is arguably the biggest stage in sports, right?
Right.
You agreed, arguably the biggest stage in sport. And the game is supposed to be kicked off at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So Terrence, why don't you start telling us about your take on the Super Bowl? What do you think about the Super Bowl? Do you think that this is going to be the best Super Bowl ever based on the matchup? Tell me about all of what you think about the matchup. First of all, we maybe can start with Tom Brady and tell me all of what you see coming from Tom Brady. I'm not going to ask you your pick yet until we get close to the end. Ask you who you're going to pick, but tell me how you see the Super Bowl playing out this Sunday.
Well, I think it's going to be a good game, and it's going to be, I think, who has the best defense is going to be the winner, whoever has the best defense, because they both have great offense, you know, but we're talking about two different quarterbacks. You know, Tom Brady is a pocket passer, and he does not like to get hit. Patrick Mahomes, on the other hand, the quarterback for Kansas City, he'll stand back there, but he'll run. He'll run out. He does, and he's young. Tom Brady is old, man, a football old. Tom Brady, how old is Tom Brady? About 85?
45.
And Patrick Mahomes,
5 years old.
Patrick Mahomes is 25. So you're talking about quarterbacks on two opposite ends of the spectrum. But it should be a good game. Like I said, it's going to be a matter of who has the best defense, because they both have offensive weapons. You talk about Tampa Bay's offensive weapons. They have Scotty Miller. They have Ronald Jones, the running back. The list goes on. They have so many weapons. So it's gonna be fun.
Well, if you say it's gonna be defense, then I can almost tell who your pick is gonna be already. you say it's gonna be defense, but yeah, this game is definitely gonna be interesting and it's gonna be epic. You know, this is the first time ever in Super Bowl history that the host team is going to be playing in the Super Bowl. First time ever in the history of the NFL. And we're looking at the person I would consider to be the GOAT, the greatest of all time, going to be competing against the current greatest.
Right.
So then this is going to be a game. So as a result of that, Terrence, I have to disagree with you. I think it's going to be a quarterback game. I think this game is going to be a quarterback game. And it's going to depend on which quarterback plays the best in this game. And that's what it's going to come down to. You know, no, not saying that defense is not going to count, but Tom Brady, even though he's 45 years old and is not playing as sharp as he used to play before, he's still a very dangerous quarterback. And he doesn't have to be as good as he used to be. Because remember that Tampa Bay is giving up like about 4.6 yards per carry on the ground. So they can run the ball.
Yeah.
Right. And they are like number 7 when it comes to passing defense. You know, so based on all of that, then Tom Brady, whilst he still have to come in and play, have a very good game, he doesn't have to come in and be the Tom Brady from back in 2007, 2008.
Right.
You know, so
can I ask this?
What was that?
Can I ask this though? I gather this is his Tom Brady. That this is his 10th Super Bowl final, and quite an accomplishment. In fact, he's the only player to do that in 30 years. What is it though that makes him so special? What is it in football terms that makes a Tom Brady so exceptional?
You want to take that up first, Terrence, and I'll go next?
Okay, well,
Terrence.
I would think that one of the things that makes Tom Brady so exceptional is that Tom Brady sees the whole field. You know, he goes through all his regressions. He goes to, usually there you have 3 different options. When you come out of the huddle, you have 3 different options that you're going to go to. You're either going to go to this wide receiver, or the tight end. Usually, Tom Brady sees all of that. He sees all of that. As soon as they break and he hikes the ball, he goes 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm going to 1. Gets rid of the ball. So it's a quick release for Tom Brady. He gets rid of it. He, like I said before, he doesn't like to get hit. So he makes sure that he sees everything and he gets rid of that.
Yeah. So I just want to correct something I said earlier on. Actually, Tom Brady is not 45. He's 43 years old. And Mahomes is 25 years old. So yeah, definitely when it comes to football, you have to consider Tom Brady, Mr. Football Dynasty. And that is pretty much based on what Terrence said before. This guy is able to see the entire field. He is able to read the defense and know exactly what the defense is going to do. So then when he goes into the huddle, he already have 3 plays ready to run depending on what the defense is giving him. You know, and when you're a quarterback and you're able to do that, it makes it very difficult for the defense to plan a scheme against you as a quarterback. You know, plus, this guy been in the league for 20 years. That's almost, for nowadays in Chicago, that's a lifetime, right? We think about the way crime is in Chicago, that's a lifetime, right?
That's
20 years. He's been in the league for 20 years and haven't been injured a lot. So then one of the key things, John, you being a physical therapist, is that this guy eats well and he takes good care of his body. And that account for his durability as a quarterback, you know. And so he's so comfortable playing the game. And because of all of this, starting from the way he takes care of his body and the way he's able to read the game, the defense, and his ability to throw the deep ball, also his ability to spread spread the defense, you know, then that's what made him so successful throughout his time in the NFL. Okay,
but you're saying he's also 43 years old, right? What is the lifespan, should I say, of a foot? Well, he's a quarterback. What's the lifespan? What's the career span of an athlete like that? Is it, you know, what is it? Well, he sounds like a big man to me. Like a
lifespan. He already passed the lifespan. Usually, a quarterback goes up to about maybe 30 something.
Oh,
I think
he is an exceptional athlete.
Right. I think he's the oldest quarterback to ever go to the Super Bowl. I think he's.
Okay, gotcha. I gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Terrence, so when we look at it, like John said before, this is going to be Tom Brady's 10th Super Bowl. And I just got to keep on adding to the greatness of this guy. And he has won 6 Super Bowls so far. 10 attempts, and he won 6 so far. The person who is next to him when it comes to appearing in the Super Bowl has only been to the Super Bowl 5 times. And that was John Elway.
Yep.
Right? So
Yep.
you're talking about this guy also has a chance to be only the second quarterback to win the Super Bowl with 2 different teams. I think the only other person who did that was Peyton Manning, right?
Yeah, Peyton.
Yeah, Peyton Manning did that with the Broncos and with the Colts. So when you think about all of what is at stake, and you think about who this quarterback is, you know, Tom Brady is definitely coming out on Sunday, and is coming out there like this is the Super Bowl of his life. As a matter of fact, he considered this year, he said this year is a magical year. And so far, I have to agree with him. It is a magical year, considering the fact, Terrence, that the NFL had to deal with the pandemic.
Right.
And despite the pandemic, there are so many records that have been broken in the NFL this year. You know, and so we have to give credit to the commissioner. We have to give credit to the guys who are in the Players Association, and also to the healthcare teams that are behind this place to ensure that they're tested on a regular basis to sort of contain the spread of the virus, and have made the season a very interesting season. Possibly, this Super Bowl might be one of the best Super Bowl ever.
It will definitely be one of the most watched Super Bowls. Everybody is curious to see how the Super Bowl is going to play out despite COVID.
Right.
Everybody's going to be tuned into that.
And this is without spectators. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Without what?
Well, no, they're having, some teams are having a couple thousand or a few thousand spectators.
Go ahead,
Terrence.
Oh no, I was just saying, yeah, they're gonna have some. They're gonna have some people. It's not gonna be full capacity though.
Oh, is that so? They are allowing a few. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's very interesting.
See, the Super Bowl is a big money maker.
Hell yeah!
A lot of money with the Super Bowl, and they've lost a lot of money not having spectators in certain cities. So of course they want to have some spectators at this one to make some of that money. But they have a whole lot of money, man. They got a lot of money, but they just
sure they do.
Yep, they're greedy.
Yeah, that's the thing about the NFL. It's a real good business when it comes to sports. It's a big business, and they're well organized. You know, both the Players Association and the NFL itself, the commissioner. I have to give credit to them. They're really well organized. So when you think about it, the last time that Tom, we got to go back to Tom again. The last time Tom Brady won, Terrence, was against the Eagles in 2017, right?
Yep.
That was the last time he lost the Super Bowl. And so over a 19-season period, man, this guy been tearing up the NFL.
Tearing it up.
And there are many, I'm not one of them because, like I was discussing with John before you came on, Terrence, I'm a person who pretty much, I'm a fan of the sport, more so a fan of a particular team, even though you know that I'm a diehard Chicago Bears fan.
Yeah, I know.
But I we always talk about it, and I always tell you that I just love good football.
Right.
So even, my pick for the Super Bowl was actually Green Bay Packers and and Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow.
That was
So
even
was mine.
though I hate Green Bay. I hate Green Bay. But again, it's judging from how Green Bay was playing. I thought they would, and I made my pick way before the playoff. I always make my pick early. So after about 6 games, I saw the way they were playing, and that's who I picked. And that's to show again the greatness of Tom Brady, to see where he's coming from as it relates to week 6, because actually I remember in week 6 they played against the Chiefs and lost terribly to the Chiefs. You remember that game, Terrence? So then that's where I made my pick. I didn't see them nowhere in the picture to make it to the Super Bowl. But I guess once again, Tom Brady proved me wrong, totally wrong.
Neither. They lost to the Bears.
Right.
Well, that might be another conversation that maybe we need to have offline. But yeah, they lost to the Bears. So I was thinking they're definitely not going to go to the Super Bowl. But I think with Tom Brady and the weapons that he had, plus the fact that the NFL really didn't want teams to travel a whole lot, Tampa Bay happened to get a little bit of luck, and now they're in the Super Bowl. Yeah. So like you said earlier, it's the first time that the home team is actually playing the Super Bowl in their stadium.
Oh, that's interesting. But let me ask this though, because again, I'm kind of new to the football thing, in spite of my jersey.
I like it.
But let me just ask this though, because the Super Bowl seems to have a lot of other things surrounding it. The advertisements, for instance. It seems to be a big deal. That is like a whole system by itself, the advertisement.
A whole other show.
And also is it the halftime show or something?
Yeah, the halftime
that goes on. But tell me a little bit about these things in terms of how important they are.
Throughout the Super Bowl, throughout the playing of the game, you'll see a bunch of advertisement, and they, even before the Super Bowl this week, they have like a preview of all the new ads that are going to be on the Super Bowl. And because there are so many ads, I think they're focusing more so on ads that dealt with servicing as it relates to COVID. So a lot of the ads that they have this year, I heard it yesterday, I think, on the news, that some of them were selected because it relates to services offered as it relates to COVID. But yeah, for the Super Bowl, commercial has always been a big business. This year I haven't heard so much about how much it costs for whatever the time slot is, but it used to be millions of dollars for a real small time spot. And 30. So what usually happens is very, very small. So usually what happens is that during the Super Bowl, not only are people watching the game, but people are also watching to see which ad is going to be the best ad. And so at the end of the Super Bowl, after the Super Bowl on Sunday night and Monday and for the whole week, people are going to be talking about the best commercial. And that make the news every year. It's a big deal.
Exactly. That's why I threw the question out, because that's like I could understand my own self. And then of course there is the performances that go along with it. It makes it, this is a hell of a product. It's a hell of a product. It is. The international products.
You want to add anything to the commercial, Terrence?
Well, I was just gonna say, and I think you kind of said it, that they anticipate so many people watching. Every big company, they want to advertise because they want everybody to see this new product that they have. So like Coca-Cola, for example, or Pepsi, or Apple. Apple. They all want to advertise so all these people that are watching the Super Bowl can see. So they pay millions of dollars for a 30-second segment. They want everybody to see it. So they'll do that. And then the halftime show, that's another part of the product, the whole product.
Right.
The big deal. Who's gonna perform? What are they gonna wear? You know, what songs are they gonna sing? These things, yes, they're laughable to me. I laugh.
Yeah, indeed.
But it's a big deal to people. Like if Beyonce was performing, they'll wonder, okay, what is she gonna wear? What is she gonna sing? People always worried about these things. Then you have the national anthem, which is another part.
Yeah.
Okay. So people are always wondering, well, who's gonna sing the national anthem? Are they gonna have a flyover where planes fly over the stadium? I think due to COVID, some of these things might change a little bit, but like you all are saying, it's a big business, so everything has to be just right for them. Everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's why I have to agree with them, because Terrence, I'm always struggling with, and I think I mentioned it to you before, I'm always struggling with calling football and calling soccer that you guys call soccer, because I believe that we should always hold the title as football, because
football.
So I'm always arguing with it. So I find it difficult sometimes to say that really that the Super Bowl is the biggest stage in sport. But when you look at it, and if you're going to be honest, there is no bigger stage than the Super Bowl in sports.
In the United States?
No, in the world. In the world. There is no other sport.
That is arguable.
That's what I was going to say to you. See, I'm partial about that too, because I think about the World Cup and I think about the Olympics. And I think about the Olympics.
The World Cup is probably the biggest.
Of course it is.
No,
of course it is.
I'm talking about on the stage. I said the biggest stage. I'm talking about, because we're talking about the entertainment and everything included. I'm not talking about just money. I'm talking about a stage.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about earner. I'm not talking about the biggest earner.
Well, you were talking about, when you say stage, you mean the number of persons who would have been watching, tuning into this?
When I say stage, I'm talking about number of people watching. I'm talking about the whole idea about the commercial and the big commercial show. I'm talking about the halftime show, all of what we spoke about before. I'm saying it's the biggest staging of an event.
All the different components with it.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, so
certainly not in terms of total numbers watching. That the World Cup has long superseded in the Olympics. The World Cup has superseded.
Okay, so we were also talking about, Terrence, before we went on to talking about the question, responding to John's question. John, do we have any question coming in from any of our listeners?
No, not more. No, nothing more yet.
Okay, so we're talking about the Tampa Bay offense. You know, I just want to cover everything on Tampa Bay before we go to the Kansas City Chiefs. And yeah, they have a high-powered offense. You know, and we think about the running back. You know, they have all of those wide receivers, such as talking about Mike Evans, right? Talking about
beast.
Of course, Chris Godwin.
He's a beast. Yeah,
maybe the most explosive wide receiver in the league, even though he have problem fumbling the ball or dropping passes, I should say, dropping passes. Yeah. But then we had Chris Godwin, and you bring in a running back like Jones, right?
Yep.
And then you have a running back that can also be considered as a receiving running back. When we talk about Fournette.
Yeah.
You know, how do you see the game going as it relates to this high-powered offense that the Tampa Bay has?
I think they're gonna score a lot of points. They have, like I said earlier, they have so many weapons. They're gonna attack Kansas City different ways, and of course they're gonna use that strong running game, but then of course they're gonna use their wide receivers. Mike Evans, he's a big body, he's a big guy, and they're gonna take advantage of that. Chris Godwin,
Remember he had so far he had 15 touchdowns this season.
Yeah.
15 touchdowns this season. But then how can we forget? Let's not forget to mention our own Scott Miller.
Scotty Miller. He's a little guy, but he's fast.
Doesn't he remind you of Tom Waddle?
He does. Exactly. Yes. He's fast. He's shifty. I like him. I like Scotty Miller.
I like him too.
He's from Chicago. He's from here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's from Barrington, Illinois, right?
Yeah, he's from the suburbs. Yeah, he's from Barrington.
And then he's only 23 years old and he's playing well. As a matter of fact, he catch a very important pass in the championship game, right? He catch a very important pass in the championship game. And then we cannot forget Antonio Brown also. Don't use a lot. Then,
he's one of the most controversial receivers, but at the same time, he is a reliable option. He's a big guy. He's strong. He's fast. So, I mean, of course, you can't count him out.
What makes him controversial, though?
Well, Antonio Brown was in the news a lot. There was some accusations about, he was dealing with some sexual assault, I believe it was.
Okay.
And he's not so much of a troublemaker, but he kind of he had an issue where he nitpicked about a helmet. He wanted the helmet to be a certain way, but can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but you're off screen.
Your video is gone.
Video.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, so he had an issue about the helmet. He wanted the helmet to be a certain way. In the NFL, they already have rules about their helmets.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to break the rules. So, he's kind of sometimes he wants things his way. So, he's a little different in that.
Definitely very controversial in a lot of ways. And also consider himself to be very outspoken in a lot of situations. And that can cause you a lot of problem in the NFL because they have their rules and so forth. But we cannot forget Gronkowski. We cannot forget him.
Oh, how can I forget about Gronk?
We cannot forget about it. Right? We know that right now he is primarily a blocker. As a tight end, he's primarily a blocker. But I believe that I'm going to call this one. I believe he's going to catch a first touchdown on Sunday. I believe he's going to catch a first touchdown on Sunday. I believe that they're saving him for the Super Bowl. We know the way Tom Brady is as a person. So if he doesn't catch it for the first touchdown somewhere along the game, because why I believe the game is going to be high scoring, I still believe it's going to be a close game. And if it gets to that point where by Tampa Bay is behind at all, they're going to go to run. Without a doubt. They're going to go, to Rob. They're going to go to Rob. So then expect that he might change his role a little bit from primarily being a blocking tight end right now to more of a receiving tight end. For this game that's coming up. But I don't know if they're going to have to use him for that towards the end of the game, because I think there's, Tom Brady have enough power, offensive power around him to, keep the game like that. But I just believe that he's going to be used as some form of decoy for the first touchdown.
And let me piggyback on your point from my man JC. Brady and Gronkowski, that's who we were talking about. They were buddies. They were on the same team before Tom Brady came to Tampa Bay. So when Tom Brady came to Tampa Bay, he probably talked to Gronkowski because Gronkowski was retired. Okay. So he probably talked to Gronkowski and talked him into coming out of retirement and coming to his team. Right. So and this is part of the reason why Canute is saying that he's probably going to catch a touchdown, because they're buddies. And, you get all the glory. You get all the glory when you catch the touchdown in the Super Bowl. Right. And Tom Brady's going to make sure that his buddy gets the glory.
Okay.
And then this is somebody who has sure hands also. And is very good at catching the ball. If the ball is high up in the air, very good hands. So then, for sure, I'm thinking that based on what you said, I didn't even think about it that way, Terrence, but that's a very good point to make. Very good observation, because you know that they have something coming. I know, and I just have a feeling that's going to be on that first touchdown. But we'll see. But so before we move on from Tampa Bay, I just want to highlight something that we need to maybe let our audience know about it, that Tampa Bay has the #1 rushing defense in the NFL. And for the entire season, they have only allowed 10 rushing touchdowns. So, Terrence, the Chief, being the most explosive offense, they're still going to have their work cut out for them.
They're gonna definitely have their work cut out for them, but they have some high-powered running backs. They have some high-powered running backs in Kansas City. You got Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Bell.
You got what's the other guy's name? Le'Veon Bell.
Bell.
And who's the other guy? The third guy? I forgot his name. His name passes me, but they have a high-powered running game. In Tampa Bay, like you said, they stop the run. So it's gonna be interesting to watch. But I think Kansas City's run game is going. I think their run game is gonna look good.
But considering the fact that Kansas City pretty much have a makeshift offense, how do you think this is going to impact? I mean, I know that can work wonders. It can work wonders, and then you have who I consider to be the greatest NFL coach of all time. That's me. All right, when it comes to Andy Reid, and we know he got Tyreek Hill, and then, just like you said, then we know about Kelsey also as a tight end. We have Kelsey as a tight end, Travis Kelsey, yep. And wide receiver Watkins, and we talk about Le'Veon Bell as a running back. So he too has a good supporting cast as offense. But my concern is that offensive line. What do you think? How do you think that this makeshift offensive line going to change what Patrick Mahomes might be able to do?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily call it makeshift. They aren't
shuffling people around.
They aren't as strong. They aren't as strong as other offensive lines, but I don't know if I would call it makeshift, but Mahomes can make it work because Mahomes can move. Mahomes will get out of the pocket. So the pocket basically is when you're right behind the line. That's the pocket. Mahomes would get out of there. If he makes his reads, he doesn't say anything, he'll get out of there. You know, and so that's what you have to do with a makeshift line. And I'm gonna use the Bears as an example. They had a very makeshift line, but Nick Foles couldn't get out of that pocket. So he got sacked all the time. And he could not run because he has a stone foot. He has the foot made of stone, so he can't run.
But that's the difference though when it comes to Mahomes, because Mahomes, you know, he can move around in the pocket and he can also scramble. You know, he can scramble, and don't forget that he can throw the ball with almost at any position with his arm. You know, you can be blocking the ball as the defense might put some pressure on him, and maybe the defensive player with their hands up in the air, and he can throw the ball right underneath the arm. You know, one of the few quarterbacks who can throw the ball at any position. So all of those things makes him a very, very dangerous quarterback.
And probably the only quarterback that can look you right in your eyes and throw the ball that way. He can look right at you and throw it that
pass.
Yeah. No look pass.
You hear about no look pass in basketball, but you don't hear about no look pass in football.
Never.
But he makes it look easy. And then his arm is unbelievable. But I think a lot of that comes from the fact that he was also a pitcher in baseball, right?
Yeah, right.
He was also a pitcher in baseball.
The arm, eh?
Very, very strong arms. Yeah, so while Tom Brady is going for his seventh title, Super Bowl, then we have a 25-year-old
going for his second.
Going for his second, back to back, trying to go for back to back.
Yeah,
and we know that doesn't happen very often. The last back to back was with Tom Brady, right, in 2003 and 2004. That was the last back to back with Brady, and even making it to the championship game is not an easy feat. You know, in the last 20 years, it's only about what they say. The Kansas City Chiefs is a fourth team to make it a back-to-back championship game in the last 20 years. So this is an accomplishment. And if Mahomes, if he does this, if he does manage to win the Super Bowl, then of course he would be joining only a few quarterbacks in the league who have done this back to back. You know, so judging from what you see so far, do you have anything else that you want to add to the Super Bowl, Terrence? Anything else that you see that's going to make a difference in the game on Sunday?
I don't really have too much more to add, but I just want to say that I look forward to it. I'm excited. You know, even though I'm a Bears fan and I kind of don't care who wins, I'm still excited to watch the game and to kind of see how it turns out. But if it's not the Bears, I really don't care all that much.
Well, you know, just like what we said before, judging from the fact that we have the best, to me, the person I consider to be the GOAT as it relates to a quarterback, the best of all time. And then I think that Pat Mahomes is definitely currently the best quarterback in the league. Then I see this game as going to be one of the all-time classic as it relates to Super Bowl. So with that being said, I'm going to ask you, Terrence, so who you think is going to win the Super Bowl? Who are you picking for the Super Bowl? I know you said that I'm a Braves fan too, but I'm all, like I said before, I'm a fan of the sport, and I'm gonna have to make a pick also. So, who is your pick, and tell me the reason why?
Okay. All right. Well, let me preface it with this. When I went to Jamaica, I learned that I was told that there is no black and white. I was told that everybody just all one. You're either light skinned or you're dark. Well, over here, you black or you white. And unfortunately, that's the way it is. That's just one thing to divide us. But there's black and there's white. Mahomes is the black quarterback. Tom Brady is the All-American white boy quarterback. So for that reason, I'm going to say Tampa Bay is going to win the game because they want the All-American white boy quarterback to win.
All right.
That's interesting.
Well, I didn't think about it that way, but I have to agree with some of what you said. It is possible. We know the country that we live in, and that's possible. But I'm looking more so on Tampa Bay and the improvement that I've seen since week six when we played against the Chiefs. I think that despite all of this, Brady must still have a big game. But knowing who Brady is and knowing all that is at stake, realizing that he can go out there and improve on his Hall of Fame resume, I think he's going to go all out. And I think considering the fact that he doesn't have to be as good as he was before in the passing game. They can run the ball because, like I said, the Chief is giving up 4.6 yards on the ground per carry. And they're also like number 7 in passing defense. So when I look at all of those factors, put them together, I have to go with you. I think Tampa Bay is going to win that game. Well, I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I'm looking at somewhere between maybe 34 to 28, something like that.
Well, I have to admit that you have all fired up my interest in watching the game. I'll admit I've never watched a final before in my life.
John, you should watch this one. This one is going to be.
You have my shirt now.
Yeah, you should watch this one. This one is going to be.
I'm going to watch it then. I'm going to watch it. I just have what you've explained. Right. I can see different sections of it. I can different things coming out. So I can look for those things.
The dynamic of it. That'll be exciting for you.
Great stuff. Our time is actually running out. So any few last words?
So Terrence, I just want to say thanks to you for accepting the invitation to come and fill in as it relates to the football section of our program. Yeah. And
this was fun.
I knew I could count on you, because by the way, John, Terrence is my tennis partner too. During the summer, we play tennis together. But I beat him up all the while. He's a man
of many skills, eh?
I'm the pro and he's the student.
Yes.
He's learning real fast. See, the problem with Terrence, he want to win. He doesn't want to learn the game. He want to win right away. So he's getting.
What's the spirit, man? Killer instinct, they call it.
Yeah, he can't help it.
He doesn't like to lose a point. He screams when he loses 1 point. It was fun playing with you, Terrence. And
why you telling my secrets, man?
Oh man, I can do it. I know I can do that. And then it's great having you, man. And we look forward to seeing you on the show again. Maybe to talk about some basketball too, or whatever. And good luck on your show. We want to remind our listeners to take some time to watch Terence's show. It's called Chicago
Podcast.
Clubhouse, a podcast.
Yeah.
And we want to remind our listeners to like, share, and subscribe to our program. And we want you to keep the comments coming in. And once again, we want to say thank you for your viewership. And once again, good night.
Yeah, man. Give thanks. Give thanks. Peace and love.
Peace. Peace.